Hey man, say man, what to do? What to do? So with the camp shot like a lamb, big boss, all boss dog, can't pop through the door. Hit the top to his box, fucking around soliloquy. Every 12 times don't last. Good people do the enough self. Caught him in the foul line, maybe you matter. Peak game, peak game. 84's one swing. Y'all remember, we clutched up, we clutched out. You know what we're talking about. That boxing. Before we get the main out, try the main dish, gotta introduce our second host, future Hall of Famer. Salute to all our soldiers. Brody on the hustle, aka Coach B. Let them know how you doing, man.
What it is, folks, just like K-Po said, we clutched up, we clutched out. Y'all know we're here to talk about that boxing, man. Hey, y'all know what I'm finna tell y'all next. God wake you up, he put breath in your body, everything else is extra. Get up, do you, take care of the fam. Hey, and for those souls out there that may be feeling lost and hopeless, hey, it's somebody out there for you. It's somebody out there who want to hear your story. Somebody out there who care for you. Hey, dial that mental health hotline. I know we just had a young soul take himself in the NFL. I know it's not boxing, but at the same time, our lives matter. You know what I'm saying? Call that mental health line. 988 is the number again. 988 is the number. Dial that number if you ever in stress and you feel like taking yourself out. But with all that being said, I'm finna pass it back to K Poe. Let's let them know how we flow and continue the show.
I wish, it's, and, to segue off into the next topic, Coach, do you feel like they gonna try to stall this fight out? I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably answered this a little bit, but you feel like they're gonna stall this fight out and wait till these guys are old, or you feel like, hey, they gonna get this fight happen if they go get Mister Butty on it, on it. Let me know something.
Honestly, I think that's the only way they're gonna get this fight to happen. They're gonna have to get that man with them sheets wrapped around his body involved. That's the only way they're gonna get it happen. Because other than that, they're gonna continue to stall Boots out. I'm tired of it. You know, it is what it is at this point. Now that I didn't openly seen it live on television, guys really don't want to get in the ring with Boots, man. And whether you want to say it's because he ain't done nothing, or whether you want to say it's because he too much, guys just don't want to get in the ring with Boots because they know the risk always is going to outweigh the reward when you're talking about a Jaron Boots Ennis. Like I said, it has nothing to do with, oh, he missed out on the opportunity. No. What opportunity did he miss out on? Vergil Ortiz just now in the last couple of years made a legit name for himself. Yeah, he's been on the scene, but what he's done in the last couple of years, he's just now getting there. And Boots is right behind him. So I don't see how guys are saying Boots ain't done nothing. Boots hasn't done nothing because he hasn't gotten the opportunity to do something. Everybody always has a excuse or a reasoning or a fight lined up when Boots' name is mentioned to them. And they always want to bring up, oh, we sent the offer to Boots. Boots said no. I don't believe Boots is going to say no to everybody. Something's missing in this area. And like I said, the only way I feel like this fight would truly happen is if Turkey gets involved. Turkey's gonna have to push the envelope. He's gonna have to drop some bread on their head. Pause. No freakies in full effect, and he's gonna have to get them boys to turn to. I hate to say it, but them boys gonna have to sell their soul for this fight. And at this point, I'm not saying sell your soul, but at the same time, if this is what Boots has to do to get his name on the map like it's supposed to be, then Turkey, please, get involved. I don't even like Turkey like that. Y'all know that. But if I want to see Boots in the ring with some of these guys that y'all keep saying he's ducking, and now we know Vergil Ortiz and the entire Golden Boy Promotions camp is ducking Jaron Boots Ennis because they have an agenda. And if Boots is put anywhere within that plan at any given moment, they know that all this stuff could be ruined and it could be decimated by Boots. But at the same time, if I'm Vergil Ortiz, we're gonna lose to Boots that looks good on your resume. Like I said, guys are so worried about who they're gonna lose to and when they lose to them. Eventually, if you fighting the best of the best, you're going to take a L. You're going to take a L. You can't run around it. Because if you do run around it, guess what? You're gonna get the same treatment we give everybody else that's been running from a true fight. You've done what you've got your accomplishments, but against who? At the end of the day, when I retire, when somebody retires, or if I was a professional fighter, when I retired from the sport of boxing, I want to say I fought the best guys that were available for me to fight, and I fought the elite competition when I was an elite fighter. And yes, I may have took a loss to a Boots, and yes, I may have took a loss to a Charlo, but at the same time, I got in the ring with those guys, and I gave them a run for their money. And then you can backdoor and look at my wins. I beat a Maginot. I beat a Timzu. I beat a Fundora. I beat a Keith Thurman. I beat her. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's what he accomplished, but that's what I'm looking at. If I was to retire, or if I was a coach or a trainer of a fighter, that's what we need to be saying. Not saying, oh, I I didn't want to take the fight with Boots because the risk outweighed the reward. Like, what do you sound like, bro? Anytime you step in the ring with any fighter, the risk outweighs the reward because you could take a punch and never be the same. Hell, at this point, you might not wake up. So at the same time, the risk is always going to outweigh the reward. But at the same time, make it worth your while. Don't sit here and tiptoe through the daisies and dance around the situation of being in the ring with elite fighters. Of course, it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, if you fight in top-notch competition, you're bound to take a loss. There's nothing wrong with taking the L. There's nothing wrong with taking 3 L's as long as you're taking the 3 L's to people you're supposed to be fighting. Don't go in there and take 3 L's to no names. Don't go in there and then have a illustrious career 52-0 against guys who C-level, D-level fighters. They barely been pros for, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 years. Like, no. Get in there and fight who you're supposed to fight. But like I say, to answer your question directly, Capo, honestly, if Turkey don't get involved, I don't think this fight gonna happen. And if it do, it'll surprise the heck out of me. I'm just being honest. They don't want nothing to do with Boots. And at this point, I'm starting to feel like it's not too many fighters in the professional ranks that want anything to do with Boots because they know what he represents when he steps to the forefront. And you say, I'm gonna fight Jaron Boots Ennis. It's a tough, tall task for anybody. For anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you are. You can be Bud Crawford, and I hate to bring it up, but that is a tough ask for anybody to get in there and beat a Boots. It's just hard for anybody, and it's okay. But at the same time, the fact that y'all keep dancing around him and making it seem like he's ducking everybody is just beyond me. It's just getting absurd. Somebody give that man an opportunity, and if you beat him, you beat him. Cool. But if he beat you, take it for what it is. Boots is one of the better generational talents around right now, and it is what it is. You step to a young lion, he hungry, and you just happen to be in the way. He put you on the plate, he grilled you up, he cooked you, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why this fight happens if Turkey get involved. I don't see Eddie Hearn being able to deliver this. I don't see De La Hoya. I think both of them gonna play politic games. I think De La Hoya. I mean, you Virgil Ortiz promoter already saying that he want 7 zeros, right, in order to for him to fight Boots, which is egregious to me. I'm like, none of these dudes are at that point in their career, right? So let's just make this fight happen, right? Give Y'all can make money on the back end as far as on the pay per view sales. Get a flat rate or whatever it is. Give Boots 5 million, Virgil gets 6 million. All right, let's make this fight happen. Or 2 million for Boots, 3 million, whatever the case is. I don't care. Give people, pay them accordingly, and then give them the back end money, right? For the pay per view sales. This is a big fight. This is a fight that we want to see. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. It's not close. And I think that's why there's going to be some stalling. And what I mean that's not close is because of the one. I don't want to disrespect Virgil Ortiz, so let me say this in a good manner. Virgil Ortiz don't have a lot in his arsenal, whereas Boots coming with, you know, let's say we're going to war. Coach B was in the army, so we're going to use military reference. Let's say Virgil Ortiz got an assault rifle. You got an AR-15, right? Virgil Ortiz got an AR-15, but Boots coming with a 50 cal, a pistol, AR-15, a RPG,
Mhm.
a grenade launcher, a flamethrower.
Mhm.
Right? Boots got more in his artillery than Vergil Ortiz. That's what I'm saying. Right?
Mhm.
So when you analyze the matchup, unless Boots has an off night, it's a landslide victory for Boots. There's nothing Vergil Ortiz can do, excuse me, to beat your Boots, and they all know that. His team know that, so that's why they just tried to use Boots' name, and then now they're finna start politicking. That's what it boils down to, right? So they know Boots, and I'm gonna say this. Mark my words. Jaron Boots Ennis will stop Vergil Ortiz. Will stop him. Okay? Y'all heard it here on Clutch Factory first. Okay? He will stop Vergil Ortiz. Okay? It don't take nothing away from Vergil Ortiz as a fighter. Just because you get stopped don't mean you're a bad fighter. I want y'all to understand that. It's boxing. It happens. Some dudes get stopped in sparring. Right? You rather get stopped in sparring than under them lights. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's boxing. It's gonna happen. Somebody gonna have your number. It don't mean Vergil Ortiz will be considered a bad fighter, right? Because he lost to Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here saying that Jaron Ennis is fluid, but Miguel Cotto lost to Floyd Mayweather. Oscar De La Hoya lost to Floyd Mayweather. Do I need to keep going? Manny Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather. When you put in work in the sport of boxing and you're not ducking no Rick and you out here fighting good fights, hey, you're gonna have a good reputation. You're still gonna have that fan base. Look at Errol Spence. Okay, he ain't fought yet, but look how he was being celebrated when he showed up to the fight. Errol Spence couldn't walk nowhere without people trying to grab him for pictures and interview him and all type of stuff. And he lost very bad to Terence Crawford. But people still want pictures and I'm pretty sure if Errol's like, man, I'm gonna come back and fight. He gonna do good numbers. Why is that? Because he did right by the boxing game by fighting tough fights. And that's what these young guys got to understand. You're going to take losses like Coach B say. It is what it is. Some dude's going to have your number. But it's how you rebound from them fights, right? It's how you continue to evolve and continue to grow as a fighter. You sitting there getting mollywop, body bag, toe tag, okay, cool. You could bounce back from that, right? Vergil Ortiz may lose to a Boots and then come back and beat a Charlo, right? I don't think that's gonna happen. But hey, you never know. It's boxing. Anything can happen. All you need to do is land that perfect punch. Good night. Look what happened to Sebastian Fundora back in the day. He was whooping Mendoza, and then Mendoza landed on him. Dude laid out. So it's about testing yourself as a fighter and really knowing who you are as a fighter. I mean, coach, we're gonna do the little coach's corner right here. From a coach's perspective, when you got a fighter of a Vergil Ortiz caliber, right, who does not have a lot in his arsenal, but wants to fight a guy like a Boots who got a lot in his arsenal, how do you instill that belief in him to go execute your fight plan? Let him know something.
All right, first things first. Got to understand what you have as a coach, as a trainer, as a mentor. Let's call a spade right here. Vergil Ortiz slightly separates himself from most fighters because he doesn't mind going into the aspect, and he believes and he knows at some point in each and every time he steps in the ring, he's going to have to box a little bit. He has a jab. He has an okay jab. So understanding that first, let's keep it real. He's a fighter, but he's a fighter that doesn't mind utilizing the aspect of boxing when he needs to. But he's not going to go to it long. because once he sees an opportunity to start throwing them haymakers, he gonna throw them. And we've seen this multiple times. He don't mind getting into a firefight because why? He's one of those fighters who do not care. He's not going to stop. The only way you're going to stop a Vergil Ortiz from being Vergil Ortiz is to stop him. You're going to have to stop him. You're going to have to hit him with something to make him rethink himself, slow down, and actually resort to having to box. And once you get him to resort to box, that's when you can go ahead and capitalize on the moment and beat a Vergil Ortiz. But like I said, you got to understand the fighter first. He's a fighter who doesn't mind boxing a little bit, and he doesn't mind utilizing his jab. That's what separates Vergil Ortiz from the rest of the fighters that is in the sport of boxing. But to answer your question directly, to get a guy like Vergil Ortiz to believe, you have to consistently motivate him to understand we want you to be who you are as a fighter, but eventually you have to understand you're going to come across some guys. The higher you go up in this sport, the higher you go up in competition, there's going to be guys who are able to negate what you love to go to. And I'm gonna resort to this because even in this little interview after the fight backstage, he said, Vergil Ortiz said this himself, and I say this all the time here on Clutch Factory. The reporter simply resorted to a question where he asked Vergil Ortiz, "Hey, what did you see? What did you see in this fight? Because it was something you hit Lubin with that made him not want to engage." And Vergil Ortiz replied and said, "Hey, I don't know exactly what it was. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the film, but I believe it was a body shot." And then he proceeded to answer the rest of the question the reporter asked him. He asked him, "Did you see this as a weakness?" And Vergil Ortiz resorted to saying, "Every fighter has a weakness," in which I wholeheartedly believe. Every fighter that steps in the ring has a weakness. Now, what you and your camp do when y'all get, into the later weeks and the later months of fight camp, preparing for a fight, when y'all watching that film heavy, you done all your training, you done all your you done all your critiquing. Now, what you do when you start watching film, that's on you. If you sitting there and you marveling at a guy, how fast he is, how good his defense is, how slick, how hard he hits, how good he's able to create angles, that's on you. You wasting time. I don't care. We don't care about what you're good at. We don't care about what you're great at. We're looking for the one weak point as a team that we can exploit the entire fight. Every fighter has a weakness. Now, some codes are a little bit harder to crack than others. An example, Floyd Mayweather. To sit here and say he doesn't have a weakness is absurd. He has a weakness, but nobody was able to figure that out and exploit it. With that being said, this is what you do with a guy like Vergil Ortiz. You give him something to go off of. You give him something to feed into. If you see a guy can't fight going backwards, guess what? That's perfect. That's matchmaking heaven for a guy like Vergil Ortiz, because what? He is a come forward fighter. He is not going to stop fighting unless you put him out on the canvas and he's down for the count. Again, if you see a guy who can't move left and right, guess what? You get Vergil Ortiz to understand, hey, we're going to need you to step. We're going to need you to L step. We're going to need you to off step. We're going to need you to slide step. We're going to need you to do all these other things to keep going, to make this fighter have to box or fight side to side because they can't. So this is the things I would do to make sure a fighter like Vergil Ortiz understands, hey, we can keep going, but at the same time, the higher we get up in competition, I need you to start exploiting guys' weaknesses, because eventually you're going to come across somebody who's not going to allow you to be who you are. So you need to be able to shapeshift and understand how to take advantage of other fighters' weaknesses as we move up in competition. But at the same time, first things first, you need to understand your fighter. You need to understand how to watch film. You need to understand how to prepare. And you always got to keep a guy like Vergil Ortiz mentally prepared, because the way he fights, the few times we might see him lose, if he does lose, not wishing nothing bad on his career, he going to be knocked out because of the way he fights. That's just, it is what it is. He's a guy that fight. He's going to go out on his shield. He's going to go down swinging. and that's who he is as a fighter. But at the same time, and this is with any fighter that you choose to step in the ring with and say, hey, this is my fighter. I've been training this guy, I've been coaching this guy. I want to get him to the promised land. I want to get him in the bag. I want him to get him to retire and be a pound for pound. I want him to be in the Hall of Fame. You have to understand the fighter that's in front of you, the fighter that you're dealing with, and you have to understand how to keep this guy motivated, and you have to teach your fighters and train your fighters how to exploit weaknesses. We're not looking at film to sit here and say how great somebody is at doing something. That's cool. We want to see what you're good at, but at the same time, we're looking for something we can exploit. And I hope I answered your question directly, but at the same time, that's it from Coach B and Coach's Corner.
Bottom line, Vergil Ortiz ducking.
Right.
Y'all get that's just what it boils down to. But we shall see, man. We'll see what he do. We got a couple of months to the new year. Well, we got like a month, my bad, not a couple of months. We got one more month. So we'll see what he does, man. We'll see, what the energy is like from their camp. They talking about Jake Paul, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. They need to be focusing on boots. That's just my mindset. Coach, you got anything else?
Nah, that'll be it for me. Like you said, hey, my boy Virgil, well, not even my boy, the boy Virgil Ortiz is ducking boots, and it is what it is. And at this point, I'm gonna go on the record and say the whole anybody in the 154 right now that ain't talking about boots and they talking about he did this and that and he had an opportunity. Hey, y'all ducking that man. It is what it is. It's evident at this point. We can't keep sitting here saying, oh, Boots had an opportunity. What opportunity did we really get? Nobody presented anything in paper, in signing, saying, "Hey, Boots had an opportunity. We got offered him this. Here's the paperwork right here. He backed out on it." Like we can sit here and speculate all we want, but now we see it after a fight like Lubin and Ortiz. He gets in the ring. They say what they say, and then shortly backstage, this guy goes and announces my dream fight would be to fight Earl Spence in Cowboy Stadium. That would be the biggest fight in Texas history. Notice you didn't say in boxing history; you said in Texas history. Cool. I'm from Texas. I'm with it. But at the same time, that like I said earlier, that can't be your dream fight. But that's it from me, Capo.
Vergil Ortiz, get your mind right. We didn't talk that boxing talk with y'all, man, for about 47 minutes, man. Y'all continue to support us on this journey. This is the genesis. This is the beginning. We're going to continue to keep getting better because we not content, man. We not content. We're going to continue to strive to get better. We'll continue to make sure that we put our best foot forward and make sure that, man, we interact with y'all and take y'all with us on this journey. You know what I mean? So, right now we in a Honda Civic, man. You might pull up in a Corvette. We might pull up in a slab on fours. You don't know. You know what I mean? But either way it go, you're gonna be rolling with us. You feel me? So, like I could tell y'all, man, continue to support us. Tell your mama, your grandma, your auntie, your boss about Clutch Factory. Cause remember, you know me. I'm pushing this mug like I'm pushing dope. Pause. But you know what I mean? That's what it is. You know, remember to call that Manaf hotline. Remember that God love you. You know what I mean? Remember that, man. You are somebody, you matter on this earth. Please get the help. If you need talk, hey, hit us up in the comment section. We'll chop it up with you in the comment section. You know what I mean? Or shoot us an email. Our email is in the bio of our channel. You know what I mean? Like, we genuinely mean that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see nobody else trying to take their life because of, a bad situation. We all make mistakes. We all are not perfect. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about being a human being. We all are flawed. We all deal with something, and but nobody's situation is not too bad to the point where you want to take your life. So please contact somebody. Well, if you ain't got nobody, contact us. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But remember, we clutched up, we clutched out. We talking about a boss. That's culture out of here.
Salute.